I thank the Speaker. I come to the floor this morning to call for a change in the House calendar. Mr. Speaker, leaders set priorities. They identify the challenges and opportunities that face their organization. Then they assess them and put them in the right order, and then they align their organization's calendar to make sure that those top priorities get addressed. That's what the American people rightfully expect of each of us. Overall, our calendar and the priorities of the House are right on track. I'm so proud of the legislation that we passed that would move America to energy independence and create hundreds of thousands of jobs. But in one very critical area, we're seriously off track. Our calendar does not reflect the challenges and the top priorities of our country. Specifically, we're not on track to pass all 12 appropriations bills that fund our government for 2014. Fact is, we're not even close to passing those bills. And with our current congressional calendar, I cannot possibly see a way that we can pass those bills by September 30th, which is the end of the current fiscal year. This is not without consequence. It damages our economy, job creation. It damages our military in a very real way. And ultimately, it hurts hardworking American families. Now, let's look at the status of the 12 bills and then look at the time that remains on the congressional calendar to debate and pass those bills in time to avoid what's referred to as a continuing resolution. And make no mistake here, a continuing resolution is wholly inadequate as a financial vehicle to fund this government. It has serious adverse consequences. And that's why this topic merits careful attention of this body, and that's why it merits a change in our congressional calendar. Well, here are the 12 bills that must be passed. We passed 4 of them. Well, that leaves 8. My math's pretty good there. 12 bills, 4 have been completed. Now, this past due here, they're not past due right now, but they surely will be, at least some of them. As I mentioned, this has serious repercussions. I've spent a tremendous amount of time in our district listening to the hard-working men and women who keep our country safe and those who support them. Every time we pass a continuing resolution, our military reels with uncertainty. We have a deep obligation to the young men and women around the world who are keeping this country safe to use every dollar wisely to ensure that we get the very best equipment and support of them. That's why I feel so strongly about this issue. And it burdens me when we fail the American people in this respect. Well, let's look on at the calendar and see what we've got to work with here. Mr. Speaker, we have 15 calendar days. They're indicated right here in the teal-green color. These areas here represent constituent work periods. I work really hard in our constituent work periods, and I know really every member here does. It's important that we're in our districts. There's value to that, to listen to be accountable to the good folks who sent us up here. That said, a principal function and what the American people are expecting of us is that we pass these 12 appropriations bills. So, if the what is referred to as the August recess is brought to this body for a vote, I will vote no. I'll encourage every member of this body to vote no, Democrat, Republican. When an organization is facing profound challenges, you do what you must do to set it in a better course. It may be House tradition to break, but I submit that it's not wise. Mr. Speaker, I really believe we ought to be in session 6 days a week, starting at 8 a.m., earlier if it was up to me, and ending at around 7 p.m. 6 days a week. I'm convinced that just that pressure alone would help us find some common ground that I know exists in this place. That's why I call for a change in the calendar, and I yield back.